Welcome back to the Fur Seasons, everyone. It is Wednesday, August the 13th, and we are here to check out what the team has been up to over the last week. We have had, I think, anywhere from like 3 to 5 people on site cranking things out. So the team has made a ton of progress that I am really excited to share with you. So let's stop looking at it from the outside and let's dive in. All right, so the team has been framing, or reframing, I should say, some of the exterior walls here. So you can see that we are sistering the existing studs. And what I mean by sistering, we have the existing stud and we add another one beside it. Why are we doing that? Because we want the exterior walls to be taller. So we are going way up with this, and this is going to, like, the volume of space inside of this home when we're done here is going to be mind-boggling. Framing team has been on that. Apparently the demo team still has some denailing to do, so I'll have words with that. The guys are in the middle of tearing down the chimney. So, I mean, there's really only one way to do that, and that's from the top down. And we've talked about it in previous videos. I cannot overstate or understate, I cannot understate the importance and the usefulness of getting rid of your chimney. Historically, they were put in the middle of the home or in, yeah, I mean, basically in the middle of the home so that the heat would propagate out to the rest of the home, right? You'd burn a fire and, you know, to heat your home. Well, usually that is some of the most valuable and useful square footage of your home. Sorry, the sun is like blasting in my eyes this morning, so apologize for squinting, everybody. This chimney is going to be gone, and this is going to give us a ton of options on this main floor here to make this completely amazing when we're done. And I am so excited to continue to share the progress here. So let's keep moving. Over here, the team is framing in for the window. So we've got our header up top here. We've got the window opening here. We're planning on reusing the existing windows that they had, right? They had already in the last 5 years purchased very, very expensive, very, very high-end windows. And so we are going to repurpose those throughout the house. So those have all been removed. They're being stored off-site so that they stay safe and can be reused. Windows in, header. So the header is the wider beam at the top there. You always want to see that above windows. Well, pretty much always anyways. And so head over there. So we've got all sorts of things going on. Window. I'm not sure how big this window is going to be. We'll find out. And, you know, we've talked about it on other videos. We've got fan bracing here. This is just temporary. I mean, and again, like, this is just to make sure the wall doesn't go in or out. Once we start framing the roof, they'll dial this in even further. We can go back to that turnbuckle conversation that everybody liked to comment on about how rusty the turnbuckle was. Doesn't need to look pretty, it just needs to work. Kyle, look at this view, dude. Like, unreal. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, obviously the scaffolding is not so sexy, but going to be pretty awesome. On our check-in call yesterday, so one of the things that we do as an organization is we get all of our project management team on a call once a week, and we call it Unstick the Sticky. And what that meeting is for us to work together and collaborate to solve problems that we're coming up against. And one of the things that was identified yesterday is this really goofy framing. And so why is it goofy? All right, well, reason number one is the joist spacing seems to be pretty random. Like, I don't know why. I mean, I'm gonna say it's around 20 inches, and then you've got 14 over here. Very odd joist spacing, which is not the end of the world, honestly, but it's just weird. What is a little bit more concerning to me is that they've got all of this framing here, and it doesn't look like on the original construction. And we can see here, there's no sill gasket or building paper. I mean, back probably when this was built, maybe they weren't using, you know, the foam sill gasket that we use today. A lot of the times I'm used to seeing building paper, but there's nothing between the concrete and the framing. And the reason why that's a concern is concrete is actually pretty porous and moisture can move through it. And so even though you've got the damp proofing on this outside, so, you know, really moisture shouldn't move through it, it still can. And concrete is just a fickle beast. I'm just wondering if we have to reframe this. Let me know in the comments below what you think. But they've got, basically the joists are coming and they abut right into the concrete. Then they've got crush blocking in between the joists. And for those of you that don't know the terminology, joist, blocking. But then they've got a ledger underneath here. Okay, so we are in the basement here, and the team is working on getting all the frost walls framed up. Now, frost wall is a secondary wall that's non-structural that is inside of the exterior wall in a basement. Why do we do that? Well, you've got your exterior wall that's falling down onto your foundation, and our foundations are almost always 8 inches wide. In this case, the structural wall is a 2x6. So you still have, about 3 inches of, well, I guess 2.5 technically, of concrete showing. And so sometimes people want to just do a ledge and that sort of thing. We've decided for this project to just do a frost wall the whole way up so that the inside of the house has nice straight lines. There's no right or wrong decision on that. And I would even argue, like, if you're really restricted for square footage, sometimes following the concrete and having that ledge along the basement is better, because then you get more space, because your line of sight sees the exterior wall, not this interior wall. And the distance from here to here is about 6 inches. So it definitely, if you're really confined for space, might not recommend doing a full floor to ceiling frost wall. But in this case, it makes sense. They're getting all the windows in. Again, for here, this is not a structural wall, so there's no need to have a header above the window or anything like this. This is, effectively just drywall backing, right? By this time next week, this entire chimney will be gone. Not huge benefits in this particular home of removing the chimney on the basement floor, but I'm telling you, 98% of homes that have a chimney in them, removing it all the way to the basement, just amazing difference. So if you have the option to remove a chimney, remove it. It's not as expensive to do as you might think. It's usually 2 or 3 days of labor for 2 people, and a couple bins for all the brick to go out. The long-term advantage is almost always worth the short-term financial pain. That's my take on it anyways. Okay, so one of the things that I have wanted to show you guys anyways is the scaffolding system that we've had installed at this house. It's really, really cool. So let's go walk around the outside of this home and see how this works. So this scaffolding is really cool. They've got trap doors for the ladder system to get from level to level. So you can get up here, close that, and now you can safely walk along here and check things out. So, and you can walk on here. Yeah, there's a little bit of flex to it, but I'm also a pretty big guy. And then off you go. I want to go to the next level. So just open that up. Up I go. So now we're on the second level. Close that. Slide over here. We're now on the 3rd level. And so my assumption is when the guys are working here, this plank gets moved over to cover over this hatch. There is a hatch flap here. It looks like this plank, it looks like it can be moved around. Not sure. I'm not here working with the guys every day, so I don't know what their program is. Kyle is standing on another level that's just slightly higher that they've put around the outside here. And I think that's because the roof of the house came down. And so we needed a spot for the team to stand in order to do some of this demolition work out here. This is just a really, really slick system. Let's go and check out, just walk around the whole house. I think it's really cool. All right, so up we come and around we go. Where we stop, nobody knows. So again, total safe access around the entire perimeter of the house. I say all the time, safety never takes a holiday. Gotta be safe. So over here, down we come, and there we go. We're all the way to the front of the house, and we are at the roof height. Right now, the scaffolding that we're standing on is gonna guesstimate it about 12 feet, maybe 15 feet above grade below us. So that's how important this sort of product is to help with production and keep the site safe. Like, a lot of this work, it just can't happen without having scaffolding here. So let's just go down to the next level and work our way around there and just check it all out. We're on the alley side of the house here now. We have plywood on here so people can't come from the alley and climb up the scaffolding and cause confusion and delay, as Thomas the Tank Engine would say. So actually, it wasn't Thomas the Tank Engine that said that. It was the conductor, wasn't it? That remind me in the comment section. I watched a lot of Thomas the Tank Engine with my son when he was a kid. I really liked that show. It was cool. Well, that's a wrap on today, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our video and learn what we do and how we go about doing it. I love sharing this information with you, so I hope you'll consider subscribing, and I sure would appreciate a like. If you would like to learn more about what we do and how we can do it, we would love to talk with you. Give us a shout out on the phone, or you can reach us on our website. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Stay awesome. Bye now.